I'd like to get a list, just for my communications, so if somebody's calling or sending me something, I need to know if I need to get it. Did they accidentally send it to me and not you, and, you know, make sure.
The list of the 98 stakeholders that we sent stuff out.
Yeah, I don't have one compiled yet. I'll work on it.
I was gonna say, you can email it to me, or if you don't have it tomorrow.
Well, it's
I don't
not.
need the addresses, I just would like the names, so, if I need to forward anything to you, or whatever. I
Okay,
know that it's
I'll
supposed to
work
come
on
to
it.
you, but I just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
we're not missing anything.
okay, I'll work on it, but I don't have one compiled right now. So I know Larry asked for a similar thing, and I haven't forgot it, I just haven't
I
had
get
time to pull
requests
it
from
together.
people who have leases in this township that lease with us, ask me some questions, and I won't, you know, it'd be better if I knew who those, you know, stakeholders were.
Okay,
And I don't think I need addresses. I mean, I don't know what you had to have something to send to them, so. I don't plan on sending anything to them or having telephone numbers or anything.
What do you think you have so far, maybe a dozen of them back? You had 5 tonight and 6 or 7 last time?
something like that, yeah.
Okay.
That looks like a lot of reading.
I'm John Bullock from Exelon Wind. We had obviously received one of your questionnaires with your 58 questions, some on the benefits and some about concerns. And we had prepared a response to those questions, and I wanted to
Thank you.
give it to you all. I guess we're missing one board member tonight.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
I'll take it, I'll make sure
yeah.
Morris gets it.
Yeah, so, you know, there's quite a bit of information in there, but we responded to basically all of your questions. Our responses largely build on the letter that Exelon Wind and Great Lakes Wind had provided. I think it was January 24th of this year, where we provided our design basis for the project to be forthright with you and open with you on what we would like to do in the community and make commitments. The setback levels and sound limits and other provisions that were in our design basis were designed such to be protective of the community while allowing, you know, the development on people's property in a reasonable manner. And so we think that with the limits that were presented before are protected, and they're consistent with the limits that we're proposing in other townships in the area. And I just want to provide this additional information for you to consider in the process.
Thank you.
I do appreciate your group, and I want to commend you because you have been open, providing information, and I would like to see the other companies step up to that same level of commitment to us as well. But I do want to thank you for that. Some good reading. We'll go through it, and then we'll discuss it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
John,
you.
do you have copies of that for the public at all?
We don't have extra copies of it with us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I have communications from time to time with one of the other developers, but the other one has never responded back to me. So I really don't have communications with one company. But, you know, I give them my views, they give me their views. I don't think it's, you know, I don't think, express, you know, they're obviously not taking my advice, so I can't.
Yeah. What I would like to see, you know, as this you know, the project develops and gets closer to construction stage, Yeah, I would really like to see, the groups come together so that we have a sense of coordination. One of the things that I'd like to see take place would be that, as construction proceeds, that the construction at each of the sites are coordinated with the other sites so that we don't block roads, we just can maintain a good flow of traffic, and that, all issues are addressed that way.
Because basically your typical project, lasts about, 8 to 10 months to build? I mean, 45 that you're planning is about 8 to 10 months of construction, or about a year?
One season of construction.
One season, yeah, it's just, I'm curious, so
Construction
if it was coordinated with the other companies to where it was done at the same time, if the other companies build, or if you got, to go and make that, so we damage all the roads at once, you know what I'm saying? Instead of one comes in one year and they damage the roads, and the next one says, no, I'm putting them over here because I have the land.
And that is one of the questions that you had in there that we responded to.
Oh, did you? Okay, excellent, thank you.
I mean, in the event that there were two projects to happen simultaneously in the township, we would certainly be communicating and coordinating with the other developer. The reality is, it's unlikely that we will have construction going with two different developers in this township at the same time. It's just unlikely. And then, understanding that there could be some coordination required in terms of traffic and those sorts of things, but on a particular landowner's property, there's only going to be one developer doing anything on a particular landowner's piece of property, so other than, interfaces, say, in public roads or other sorts of public facilities, there's, not a lot of interaction on a particular, call it, construction site.
Do you guys trade leases? I mean, by trading leases, so that way you guys can coordinate to get most of the property in your development here, so you don't have one, say you own a lease of the land down by the state line, but the other one's over here by here and here, because, say, UV owns so many on this section, but you got a couple on the other side of the site. You guys trade leases or something, so that way you can coordinate and have all your turbines in the same area, you know what I'm saying, instead of having them spread out so far. I mean, isn't that, to go and get your lines ran all the same, so that way it goes? And I mean, do you prefer, basically is what I'm saying, do you prefer, if you have most of your leases that say Riga, Palmyra, and Ogden, between those three, do you prefer them in a certain area to your leases, or are you gonna go and run 3 turbines over here, but down by Metamora, and then you're gonna put 3 over by Berkey, and 3 by Sylvania, or are you gonna go and try to coordinate with the other groups and buying out their leases so that way you can go and have them all together in one lump area, or are you gonna spread them out amongst the 3 communities? Because there's a lot of them, there's 36 square miles in each one of the communities, and I mean, I'm just saying, you don't want 1 per square mile. It just doesn't make economic sense, So, I mean,
That's a fair statement.
Right.
That's.
I mean, but you will with trade leases, and so you will interact with the other companies. Yeah, they may not build. I mean, you guys have the power purchase agreement. They don't. And if they don't have one, I mean, more than likely, are you guys gonna go and purchase out theirs? Here's the other question. Are you gonna purchase their leases and put more in?
Those are,
I mean,
business considerations that.
I know, but you're saying only 45 at this time. Is there potential for you guys to put more than 45 in these 3 communities?
Our renewable energy purchase agreement is for 81 megawatts, so that's 45 turbines with the turbines that we're proposing. That's all we have an agreement for.
Right, but does that prevent you from having another agreement in 3 years down the road and going and putting another 45 turbines?
It wouldn't prevent it.
But would you guys do that?
I really can't speak to that.
All right.
You don't know if that opportunity will even be there.
Well, because there's already 250 proposed between the 4 townships, between the other ones with signed leases. So my question is that if they have it and they get a power purchase agreement, it's not going to be the 45 here. It's going to be more and more and more. So that's all I'm asking is that, you guys, I know you have the power purchase agreement, but if the other companies do, then there's going to be more than 45 in this area, correct?
It's
I don't think they're
possible.
At this point, I don't believe they're putting anything on any of our properties we have leased. I mean, I don't believe they can go out and sell purchase agreement on land they don't have leased, I'm sure.
We can't speak for what,
All right, but I'm just saying, I'm just
Or
asking,
someone.
because I know it's always saying 45 turbines around here, and is there potential for more? And so I guess it's absolutely, yes, there is.
Well, I don't think it's, I mean, you can see it on the maps, you've got your list. When we leased, farmer had land that was outside the area that we were interested in. But they wanted to lease with us, and they wouldn't give us what we want, you know. I'm not like saying I'm taking something from
Oh,
somebody.
and so in other words, you negotiated with these people.
We said, you know,
So what they said is take all my land, and you might not get a turbine here, but you're gonna pay the lease price on that land, because if you're gonna take some of my land, I want you to put all the land, because it's not in the development, but that's for potential, but you're still gonna pay the lease money to those people, correct? On that land that may not be in your turbine complex.
depends on where their land's located that we really need. That's pretty common sense.
More comments?
So you set a meeting for
May
May
23rd.
23rd. Is there
Yes, sir.
another one for June, could be June
The record meeting.
2nd or?
We'll set two meetings ahead, but we'll set the next meeting on the 23rd. Just to, I mean, we have to see what everybody's schedules are. This one works out, so at the next meeting, we'll schedule the one forward from that. Yes?
I'd like to just make a couple quick comments here tonight. Sounds like you guys really got your hands full, a lot of information to pull in, including the stuff that was brought to here tonight by the developers. Just a couple thoughts. I seen a couple things that I thought were good that you guys were discussing or touching on in terms of the sound levels and understanding what the proper sampling time frame is and whether or not that's an average, a long-term average versus over a 10-minute interval or something of the sort, because that has a huge difference in the terms of the way that it's measured. I heard some mention tonight of the usage of the DBC scale and measuring infrasound type of events. Riga Township added that type of language to their most recent ordinance here a couple of weeks ago, and I think that's another item that's important to kind of keep in mind. In terms of the sound limit, I heard a couple different limits talked about here. I went up to the MPSC offices in Lansing last Friday, where they have a wind health impacts group that meets. It's a group that's working with the MPSC to release the next.
Who is the MPSC?
Michigan Public Service Commission.
That's what I thought, I just wanted so everybody knew who it was.
They released the guideline there, I think in 2007 or 2008, that previously referenced, I think, like the 1,000-foot setbacks, and I believe it was 55 decibels. The group that's up there now, the half of the group that isn't represented by the wind industry, people like John Sarver, who's the head of the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association, if you listen to the two physicians that were on the board, they recommended a 40 decibel limit. That is not going to be the overall finding of the panel because, again, obviously with representatives from the wind industry, they weren't going to come to a single number, and it appears they may release a range of numbers that could be as low as 35 to 50 would be like a range for communities to use as a guideline, recognizing that not every community is going to be the same and that the expectations for community noise and quiet are going to vary. Along those lines, I may have made this point before too. I think it's important to keep that in mind when you look at our soundscape here in Ogden Township, even compared to Riga Township. We don't have proximity to 223. If you look out of the layout of the ground here, it's relatively the flat, just as Riga is, but I think we have significantly more tree cover. The trees extending from the various creek watersheds and river watersheds, almost in a sense, kind of wrap around the township to a larger extent, and I think that helps to mask the sound that we might have even from more distant locales like 52, farther over into Fairfield Township. We've got a fairly thick tree line there that makes the noise level, I think, somewhat lower here than in